Welcome to another episode of Pooches at Play. We have heaps in store for you today.
We do. I'll be talking about your pet's health and well-being.
I'll be talking training and behaviour tips.
And I think Morgan is going to revisit food and nutrition, dog food and nutrition.
And some of it's relevant to us as well. So sit back and enjoy the show. Are you going to kill that Das? Yeah, always. Come on, Pippa. Good girl. When taking a new puppy or a rescue dog to an off-leash dog park for the first time, we want to make sure the experience is really positive. So if they're a little bit nervous or unsure, or you are, then stay on the outside for a little bit and let the dog watch the other interactions and how dogs are playing inside and gauge how they're going. When they're nice and calm, good girl, Pippa, reward that nice, desired, calm behaviour. And also what we want to make sure is that we don't go rushing into the park, letting the dog go off crazy, because that's going to attract some of those other dogs that might not appreciate a puppy coming right up to them. So good girl, Pippa, this is perfect. Nice, calm entrance is what we want. Good girl. When it comes to taking your puppy off at the dog leash park, you need to have worked on your recall at home so that you've got a fairly reliable return from your puppy. Try going at quieter times when there's not a lot of distraction if you're still not sure. As a responsible pet owner, it's really important that we understand how dogs play and how to read what is good and bad dog behaviour. So we're looking for things like that wonderful play bow, that invitation to come play with them. We want them mimicking each other, taking turns. We want to be careful about dog size. We also want to avoid people that are standing around in the middle talking, and dogs are milling around, getting bored, people on their phone not paying attention to what's going on. So keep your puppy away from there. It's also really important that we look for signs of anxiety in other dogs and don't let our puppies or rescue dogs rush up to them. So things like tongue flicking, ears tucked back, their tail tucked under, because they might react aggressively sometimes. Now, these dogs might not have had the best start in life, so, they're allowed to socialise as well, so we just need to keep our dogs away from them. Dog parks are a great place for dogs to congregate, socialise and play, but that makes them a good place for parasites too. Fleas, ticks and intestinal worms can be picked up from the environment, so make sure they're up to date with their parasite protection. It's important that their vaccinations are up to date as well, because diseases such as parvovirus can be transferred dog to dog from their poo. And on that note, make sure you pick up their poo too. Come on guys, who's left? Oh, hey Hank, come on, let's go. You're a good boy, aren't you? Come on.
Narelle, I've often heard dogs with kidney issues are put on a dry or canned food prescription diet by their vets. Now, you've taken a different approach to this with one of your clients, Diesel.
I have, because nutrition is no doubt one of the most important factors when it comes to the management of chronic kidney disease in our dogs. And I guess one of the main concerns that vets have around a raw food diet for conditions such as kidney disease is that it's high in protein and it's also high in another nutrient called phosphorus. But it's not so black and white. So for example, feeding a protein source with a low biological value, such as what comes from plant sources of protein, things like soy and corn, which we typically see a lot of in commercial kibbles, that actually creates more work for the kidneys than if you fed a protein source with a high biological value, such as what comes from raw meat. And ensuring safe but still adequate levels of protein in the diet for dogs with kidney disease is actually really important, because it helps to promote the good movement of fluid through the kidneys, as well as maintaining muscle mass and supporting their immune function, especially in senior dogs such as Diesel.
Tell me about Diesel.
Diesel has faced quite a few challenges in his life. Unfortunately, one of which was the recent diagnosis of chronic kidney disease, and that's why Michelle reached out to me. So I'm working with Michelle to support Diesel from a nutritional standpoint, while still working in very closely with his vet to cover those other aspects of Diesel's care.
What did you have to consider in this circumstance to make sure it was all okay?
Yeah, well, firstly, there are good guidelines around the safe amounts of protein and phosphorus for dogs in different stages of kidney disease. So I'm always looking to work within those guidelines for my doggy clients. Then, because diseased kidneys aren't as efficient at excreting waste products from the body, ensuring adequate water intake is really important. And this is where raw food can make such a big difference, because raw food is on average around 75% moisture, whereas your standard commercial kibble is only around 10% moisture, which can be very dehydrating and put additional strain on the kidneys. Then I'm looking for a high quality, highly bioavailable source of protein that's also low in phosphorus. So for Diesel, I recommended that he transition onto the Big Dog goat raw patties because they are very low in phosphorus, which made them perfect for his stage of kidney disease based on his blood test results. And just so Diesel didn't get bored of a pure goat diet, I was also able to recommend some other varieties that Big Dog have, such as the Turkey and the Wellbeing formula, which contain a number of key herbs that further support kidney function.
Diesel sounds like such a good boy, and I'm really looking forward to meeting him and sharing his story later in the episode. Thank you, Narelle.
Thank you.
Every fortnight, trained volunteers from the Sydney Dogs and Cats Home take a shelter dog to visit the residents at the Bexley Care Centre. I'm told this is the highlight of the residents' week. Shall we go take a look? Tam, what's your role here?
So I'm the lifestyle coordinator for Bexley. We just get the residents involved in activities and we try and make it so that it's things that they used to do.
And how does it make them feel when the dogs come in?
They love it. You can just see their facial expressions. Some of them don't even talk, not verbal at all. And you can see on their expressions and some of them will just whoop. You know, it's beautiful and they'll start patting and...
So David, you had to unfortunately leave your dog recently?
Yes, because I was in and out of hospital too much and it wasn't fair to the dogs.
So how does it make you feel having the dogs from Sydney Dogs and Cats Home come in here?
Lovely, wonderful.
Out of all the activities you do, what one do you love the most?
Being with the dogs.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Me too.
They're wonderful.
So what's Margarita's backstory?
Margarita was found as a stray in the Fairfield, Randwick area, so one of the rangers brought her in. Unfortunately, she wasn't microchipped, so it makes it very difficult for the staff at Sydney Dogs and Cats Home to find an owner. We looked after her in the shelter for a few days, but she's now being fostered by one of our volunteers.
Great. And today, how do you think she's doing and her purpose here today?
The purpose here is probably twofold. One is to bring a little joy to the lives of the residents here. Many have had dogs in their lives and unfortunately can't bring them here. Therapy animals are renowned for turning, a sad day into a happy day. So for them, it's a lovely thing to do. For the animals, I think it helps socialise the dogs.
Yes, yeah, and really important.
She knows when she feels loving hands reaching out to her. My mother was in a nursing home before she passed away a few years ago. I would have loved to have been able to bring animals to visit her. She loved animals as much as I do. So it's like being able to give back a little bit. Yeah, and so coming here and seeing the joy that we're bringing to these people. Life in a nursing home, I'm sure, it's not ideal. People would rather be in their own homes and have their pets with them, but it's an opportunity to give them a little bit of joy in their day.
Yeah, and you're bringing some joy today, aren't you, Margarita? Yeah. This week's breed in focus is the Shih Tzu, which means little lion. Originating from Tibet, they were bred as companion dogs and warmed the laps of many a Chinese emperor. Joining us today, we've got Tuppence, we've got May, we've got Inky, Scarlet, and we've got Louie over there as well.
Well done.
Shih Tzus have a happy, playful personality with a friendly nature. They tend to get along with all people and children, as well as other pets, so they're considered a very sweet dog.
Aren't you all? They are indeed, but like many other toy breeds that are bred for companionship, they do tend to demand a lot of attention, so they can become a little bit spoiled. They are highly intelligent, so training them games to keep them stimulated and keep their brains and bodies moving is important. They do really well with positive and consistent daily training and are eager to learn new tricks that can increase their chance of being the centre of attention.
As with most toy breeds, Shih Tzus are quick to mature, reaching adult size by about 10 to 12 months. With their flat faces, they are a brachycephalic breed, so should not be exercised too rigorously or in hot weather, as they can be prone to heat stroke.
While they do well at obedience and agility, and which is great for those brains and bodies, as Mel said, they don't need high levels of exercise, preferring a daily walk or play in the park to keep them active and fit. You also need to be prepared to look after their luscious locks, particularly if you want to keep their coat looking like Louie's here. Look at that, it's magnificent. This requires regular baths, oiling of the coat to keep matting down, and of course, daily brushing.
Shih Tzus live on average anywhere from 10 to 16 years. Did you hear that, guys? 16 years for all of you. However, with their flat face and small mouths, they can be prone to overcrowding of teeth and resultant dental disease. Training them early to enjoy or tolerate daily brushing is especially important. Their large eyes and shallow orbits increase the risk of proptosis, where the eyeball can dislodge from the socket if there's a traumatic injury, and surface injuries and keratitis to the cornea. They can also be prone to distichiasis, where they have extra eyelashes that irritate the eye.
Wow, that's not good. So can early detection help?
Yes, it's important to note their eye development from puppyhood and consult with your vet or veterinary ophthalmologist if you notice anything unusual like redness or squinting, itching or increased discharge. Eye problems need to be caught early to avoid the risk of vision loss.
Okay, well that is good to know, and it is a good reminder to research any breed before getting one. And of course, having pet insurance too in case you need it.
That can definitely help, can it?
To learn how HIF pet insurance can help your pet in times of need, visit hif.com.au.
When we train our puppies, it's really important that they understand when they've done a certain behaviour that that's the right one and they're going to get a reward. Now, the way we do this is we condition them to a marker. That could be the word yes, it could be a clicker, or it could sometimes be good dog. I like yes or a clicker because you can immediately mark it, and the best way a dog learns is they have to make that association within the first 2 to 3 seconds so that they can really realise it was that behaviour that earned them the reward. So we're going to start with Vindy, who hasn't done this before. So it takes maybe, depending on how quick your dog learns, it might take a few days, it might take a week, it might take a couple of weeks. So what we do first of all is every time that Vindy hears me, where's he? Vindy, come. I give him a treat. So every time he hears that marker, a treat comes. Now this is called Pavlovian Conditioning. And basically what happens is he starts to associate this click with a treat. So we would do this over the next few days, and then hopefully we'll see him progress that when I click this, he starts to automatically look at me. If I've got him distracted and whatever, I'm going to click it. He should look back at me knowing that a treat's going to come. Das already knows the drill, so he's sitting there nice and quietly. But anyway, I'm going to show over the next few days how it works. And treat comes. Okay. So now that Vindy, over the past few days, has begun to understand that the clicker means a reward's happening, when he gets distracted and he hears the click and he starts to look back at me, I understand that he is really learning that the clicker means reward. So this is conditioning the reinforcer. How I can use this in training then and how you use it with your puppies, once they're understanding that whole thing, I can use it. See how he just sat and I clicked? I can now use it to mark the sit. So he then understands when he does a behaviour like that, I click, reward, that's how we teach him how to sit. Then I add the cue or the command, depending on what you want to call it, the word sit. So to start introducing the cue word, I'm going to get Vindy, I'm going to lure him into a sit. I'm going to add the cue word sit and mark it with the clicker. So now if we keep doing that, Vindy is going to understand, drop. That cue relates to the action that he's performing. Now what we do then over time, once we're sure they're reliably understanding the cue word and the action, we can start going to intermittent schedule of reinforcement, which means that we still want to reward them every now and then with a treat if they do it really well, good boy, whatever it is, and then we start to use the clicker for other forms of training. So I was going to say to use it for a drop next, but he's already done that. For more puppy tips and tricks, visit the Vita Pet Central website. We all know that sleep is so important for our well-being, yet so many Australians are sleep deficient. Alina, as a sleep expert, how important is it for us to get a good night's sleep?
A good night's sleep is an absolute fundamental to our well-being. It's important because it helps us with our mental health, so it helps us to think more clearly, it helps our memory, it helps us with our response times. Emotionally, it helps us to feel better. So it's actually the #1 determinant of happiness levels, would you believe?
Oh, right.
So the better we sleep, the better mood that we're in. Physically, it's our healing time, so it's when we regenerate and restore. So the better we sleep, the less aging that occurs.
Oh, now many of us us, myself included, sleep with our pet in our bed. Is this a good or bad thing?
It depends. It could be either. So Independent research shows that 7% of people do wake up with their sleeping with their pets.
Yes.
And 17% of women do experience sleep disturbances.
Okay, well that's actually not as high as I thought. What are some of the benefits?
Yeah, so it can actually have a really positive effect on sleep as well. Sleeping with a pet can help reduce anxiety levels, stress levels. It's even been shown to lower blood pressure, lower cortisol levels.
Okay.
So it can be really beneficial, and it actually improves some people's sleep. And partly this is because people feel more secure and comforted when they're sleeping next to a pet, particularly for light sleepers. Your pet could disturb you.
Yes.
So if your pet moves during the night, it can really help to have a zero disturbance mattress. So if your pet jumps off the bed or something like that, you're less likely to wake up. Also, I mean, there can be hygiene issues with sleeping with pets. So having a breathable mattress can help.
Yes.
Also having, getting your pet to sleep on top of the blanket or the doona can help, and you might want to have a towel or an extra cover.
Yeah, extra cover. Wash them every day so they're nice and clean.
Exactly, yeah.
And of course, flea and parasite protection is really important, and I guess not sleeping inside the bed.
Exactly, yes, on top of the covers, and also setting boundaries with your pets. So if they are disturbing you too much, then it might be time to find a different spot for your pet to sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Alina. That's great advice. If you'd like some more tips on getting a good night's sleep, visit thesleepexpert.com. And for more health and wellbeing services and tips, visit the HIF website. Lovely. Now you can come sleep in our bed anytime. Yes.
And my bed too.
Earlier in the episode, I spoke with naturopath and pet food nutritionist Lara about canine kidney disease and the results she's having treating one of her clients, Diesel, which includes the Big Dog raw food diet. Now, Diesel's just had his blood results back, so I've come to meet his owner, Michelle, and find out exactly how he's doing. Hey, Diesel. G'day, buddy. Can you tell me a bit about Diesel?
Yeah, sure. So Diesel's my special boy. He is actually completely blind.
Yeah.
So Diesel was diagnosed with an illness known as progressive retinal atrophy at the age of 6. It's a genetic illness and there's no cure for it. So yeah, but it certainly hasn't stopped us from living a really full and exciting life together. He's recently turned 16. He's very well known throughout the community and on his socials.
Yeah.
Recently, Diesel had a bit of a scary turn, which affected multiple body systems and sparked a massive investigation with lots and lots of specialists. And yeah, we still don't know the actual cause of that episode, but it was through the process of that investigation that the kidney disease was diagnosed. So being an ex-vet nurse, I know firsthand how important and crucial diet is when it comes to kidney disease. And that's when I went and sought out Lara and her expertise.
So this is an unusual treatment. Did you have any concerns going in?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the usual go-to. So most vets will prescribe a dry food prescription diet.
Yes.
And the problem with it is that there is a lot of carbs and ingredients that are not necessarily the easiest for the dog to be able to digest and absorb. So I know firsthand as an animal behaviourist how much, if the diet is done correctly, a raw diet can be the most nutritious thing for our dogs. Lara worked alongside at one of my vets to basically come up with a diet and variety of the Big Dog patties that was going to be low enough in phosphorus, because with kidney disease it's the lower phosphorus that we need to be mindful of, and also meet his nutritional needs. So he is mainly on the goat, but he does like a little bit of variety, so we do chuck in a bit of the turkey as well.
We all like a bit of variety. And how's Diesel going now?
Yeah, he's doing amazing. So we just got his latest blood results back, and they sort of show that his kidneys are quite stable. Some of his kidney markers were actually improved, and even some of his liver enzymes were as well. So that's an absolute bonus.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and Diesel's story.
My pleasure, his pleasure.
If you'd like to find out more about the benefits of a raw food diet, check out the Big Dog website. Thanks, Michelle. That wasn't weird at all.
There's more to choosing the right coat for your dog than looks alone. Breed, age and your dog's type of hair will all come into play when deciding what coat is best. Many single-coated dog breeds don't retain the heat like their double-coated counterparts, so they'll require some extra warmth when the cold weather sets in. While most dogs with a good covering of hair may only need a jacket for the outdoors, hairless dogs or those with very thin coats often need one indoors as well, which the DGG Comfort range is perfect for. Elderly dogs of all breeds may also feel the cold in their bones and joints, so keep this in mind and choose an appropriate coat to keep them warm inside and out. When purchasing a dog coat for your pooch, a key consideration is to ensure that it fits correctly. A coat that is too tight may cause a rash or cut into their skin, while ill-fitting coats that are either too large or too tight could also affect your dog's behaviour and cause them to feel anxious or irritable. A coat should be snug but not so tight that it hinders the dog's movements. The good thing about the DGG apparel is that it doesn't have sleeves, so it won't restrict your dog's legs. If your dog is very active at the park, then look for a coat that can easily be removed so you can take it off your pooch when it's playtime, or if they're going for a run so that they don't overheat. Many double-coated dog breeds in Australia are traditionally born to live in the freezing temperatures, so their own coat is designed to protect them from the cold and wet conditions. Those like the Huskies, Chow Chows, Keysons and Samoyeds, or others with thick woolly or long hair are likely to get too warm in a coat. If your dog is inside and your place is nice and warm, always take their coat off so their skin can breathe and so that they don't overheat. And also, if the coat is wet, always take it off. If your dog doesn't mind heading out in the rain, then choose a waterproof or water-resistant jacket like those in the Rough and Rugged oilskin range, exclusive to Petstock. For the sighthounds like greyhounds and whippets, then there's the Wriggly Diggly range. It's important to never leave your dog's coat on for long periods either, as their hair can become matted underneath and very painful. To find the perfect coat for your dog this winter, check out the DGG apparel range in quality pet stores and online at dogongorgeous.com.au. And yes, we're matching. Become a Petstock Rewards member and earn rewards on thousands of products and services store-wide. Receive great upfront benefits and look out for exclusive member opportunities. Terms and conditions apply. Visit the website for details. Want to win a Pawsome prize pack valued at over $2,000? One lucky person will win a year's supply of VitaPet treats, Big Dog pet foods, NextGuard Spectra monthly chews, a $250 Petstock gift voucher, DGG grooming and apparel, and a year's subscription to Dog TV. Plus, there's 5 consolation prizes of my book, Eat, Play, Love Your Dog. To enter, sign up to our e-news and tell us the name of one of the charities featured in this series. All entries also receive a free ebook, so visit poochesatplay.com.
Thanks for still watching. We hope you've enjoyed the show.
Oh my goodness, did you just make a poop joke?
No, I said still watching. Still watching.
Oh no, she started the dad jokes. If you'd like to find out anything you've seen in today's episode, including poop, visit our website, poochesatplay.com. We're going to have to chat. If you're going to do these with me, we are going to have to chat.